Welcome to a special edition of Nyberg. We're going to call this On Deck. So think of this as a Shark Tank, but very kind and very gentle. And think of it as a way to build up businesses in the state of Connecticut. So let me introduce our panel first before we get to our small businesswoman. Jim Boyle, who's the Managing Director of the Yale Entrepreneurial Institute. Kathy Rocha, who is Executive Director of the Entrepreneurship Innovation Consortium at UConn, and Kevin Booley, who is President CEO of Nyberg in Tallinn. You have a bunch of businesses all on one roof. I've visited those folks, and you're great. You folks see small businesses all of the time. You give advice, and that's what we're going to do here tonight. Let me introduce Daniel Aspinwall of Jewel Bouquets, and thank you so much for coming on and talking about your small business. I want to start with how you got to making these gorgeous bouquets. How did it happen? Tell me the backstory.
The backstory, I was actually injured in a car accident and found myself without a job. And I had this love for jewelry that came from a long time ago with my grandmother and my mom always going antique shopping and stuff. And I always loved jewelry, couldn't get enough of it, would run to the counters to find wherever the jewelry was. And my mom said, you know, why don't we...
So you're laid up from an accident, and so you start piecing these things together?
Yeah, well, my now husband and I, we were going to be getting married, and my mom said, oh, why don't you put some brooches in your bouquet? And I said, you know what, we just got engaged, I'll look at it when I have a chance, you know, let's see what happens. And sure enough, I finally had some time, you know, because I was laid up, and I was like, well, let me look at these brooches. And I fell in love, and I said, oh my God, this is absolutely amazing. I really, really love it. But everything was so far away. Everything was overseas, on the other side of the West Coast. I couldn't find anything that was local, and everything was so mismatchy. No one was doing anything that really, really flowed, and I couldn't find anything that I loved. And I said, I know I can do it. I've been an artist forever. So I've worked with all kinds of media, like anything you can imagine. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna do this myself. While I'm laid up, while I have nothing else to do, let me see what I can come up with. So I had nothing but time on my hands. I ended up working on it, and then all of a sudden my girlfriends, you know, come over.
They
and visit,
started talking, right?
and they're like,
said,
"Yeah,
can
I have one? I need one of these. When can you start taking orders now?" And I'm like,
"What did you start charging for these?"
Well, they start at $500, and they go all the way up. Some are like $1,200. It depends on exactly, honestly, the draping of the bouquet.
And when you and I talked, you wanted to take this to the next level.
Yes.
This is not every bride.
No.
This is for the bride who wants to carry something that's a showstopper and have it forever. So I put the panel together to start to help you get to that next level. Jim, when I first showed these to you, what was the first question that you had?
I wanted to know not just how much they cost, but ultimately, Danielle, how large a market do you think this is going to be? When everyone knows about you, how many customers do you think are out there that you might be able to acquire?
Well, I honestly feel, I mean, the wedding business itself has 2.5 million weddings a year just in the US. And if I can even, go global, which I would like to do.
See, she's thinking big, and I like that. The global thing, that's great.
I really would like to do that. I want where I really truly see my business being done. And I don't know if that would be something that would hurt my business or not, but I really, like Vera Wang is a household name.
Do you know who Vera Wang is?
I do, actually.
I love that.
Surprisingly.
I've always loved Vera Wang. I always dreamt about having a Vera Wang dress and whatnot. And to me, I want to be the Vera Wang of not only bouquets, but all kinds of accessories and jewelry for brides. Kind of get into the whole thing.
When you first saw this product, what were the questions you had for her? And we must say that they're bouquets, they're also cake tops, which you have on the end, which is also a showstopper. So you say, you can branch out and do all kinds of
Yeah.
things.
Yep.
First question you had.
Well, my first reaction was they're amazing. They're just absolutely beautiful work that you do here. The question that I had was around how do you reach your customer? So Jim asked the question around who is your customer, how big is the market? And I'm interested in, are you playing an online route? Are you going to wedding expos? Because you're talking about a much higher priced item than many people will buy on the web. And so I'm curious of what your marketing strategy is. Where do you sell the product?
Kind of all over right now. I've done the expos, which is great because it's getting my name out there very fast. I'm also dabbling, I mean, I obviously do social media. I mean, I think everyone has to do social media nowadays, but I also do SEM. I do a little bit on display, online display. I do that as well. So I'm retargeting anyone that reaches my website. It follows them around for the couple of weeks.
And it's hard to sell on Facebook now because of the analytics. They've really shut that down. They want
Oh,
you
I
to pay,
can't-
they want you to pay.
Well,
Yeah.
but even if you do that, I still can't get my Facebook to work for me. I was getting a lot of inboxing, a lot of people asking questions, and now all of that's gone. So I can't get anything from Facebook anymore. So that's really kind of self-defeating.
And Kevin's sitting over there just wanting to ask you what, Kevin?
Well, first an observation, right? I did a little bit of impromptu market research when you first reached out to me. And I showed my wife and my daughter pictures of the bouquets that you developed, and they were just amazed. They're absolutely beautiful, and they could imagine themselves, right, with this bouquet on their wedding day. So that was all the market research that I needed to realize that there's strong market pull for the product. But as I did some additional research, I found that, at least from my observation, it seemed like a fairly crowded market. There's a lot of folks out there that are selling bouquets. There's a lot of DIY, a lot of do-it-yourself kits for people who want to engage in this. And so my question for you, Danielle, is how do you differentiate yourself in a crowded market space like this?
That's why, again, not to talk about Vera Wang, because this is me, not Vera Wang, but Vera Wang has that reputation. She's made a name for herself as stable in the industry. And that's why I really try to make sure the quality's here with my bouquets and the customability. Like these brooches right here are actually made by hand. And I really want to hit that and bring that home to my customers.
And Daniel, lift those out because they actually come on a pedestal. So you can put this at the head table.
Yep.
This stays in your home forever.
Yes.
You'll do,
And they just shine so beautifully.
they do, especially under these lights.
Yeah.
And you will do this, and you will do this with flowers as well as just brooches.
Yes, I do have a couple of pictures in some of my.
Yes, we should show this book. This is part of your branding.
Yep.
You're not Vera Wang.
No.
You're Danielle.
Yes.
Maybe you'll just have the one word. So as we look at, and this is gorgeous. So you're taking this to wedding shops and to florists.
Yep.
And this
Even-
cost how much to make?
That book cost $20 to make.
And it looks a lot more than $20.
Yeah.
But this gives the bride an idea of what you can make.
Yeah, and that's what all of my samples basically are. These are my samples. These go to all the expos that we were talking about and whatnot. I want the brides to be able to not have to think. If they want this with their bouquet or whatever they're looking for, they can actually see it so they know how it's going to look. Oh, I want that piece right there with it. Or this thing right here. I like this cascade. So this way I know exactly what they're thinking and what they want, and I can relate that and make it into a bouquet for them.
So we talked a little, go ahead, Kevin.
Just an observation question again. One of the things that I noticed about your website was that all of your pieces are custom,
Yes.
as differentiated from some of the other pieces that can be found on the web. So the ones that are there and available for purchase at retail, the product is already finished. What I gathered from my review of Danielle's approach to business is that each of these particular bouquets is custom crafted for each bride.
Yes.
So let's talk about branding, because we've kind of brought that up a little bit. And I want to do that and show the video that you've put together. And then I want to get your reaction to, is that good enough to get her word out there? So let's look at your video,
Okay.
and here we go.
My name is Danielle Aspinwall. I am the owner of Jeweled Bouquets.
We basically take brooches and turn them into flowers. We scour the internet high and wide, looking for the specific brooches that would make your day so special. We not only make sure that we get beautiful rhinestone pieces to go into your bouquets or whatever you're looking for, we also include handmade customized brooches as well. It gives you the option and the variety to have those variation on the colors that you want to really truly be unique to your wedding. This is something you're going to keep forever, so we want the highest quality brooches we can find. Each handle for the bouquet is customizable to the actual colors of the bouquet. So if you have more silver or gold in it, you can actually choose which color of the handle you would like to portray. In addition to your customized brooch bouquet, we can coordinate with you a matching cake topper, customized right to match your bouquet, as well as a variety of other options to help coordinate your wedding day. Having a brooch bouquet for your bridal bouquet allows you the opportunity that once the wedding's done and over, this is that one piece that you can actually have and take and display it and remember that special day you had walking down the aisle with your loved one. After all, memories are made to treasure.
Jim, your response to that?
I thought you took a little bit too much time through the opening with the segmenting of the words to actually get into the story. I don't think that the imprinting of your brand was as powerful or as upfront or as in my face. I didn't see enough images of your brand throughout the piece. I would have liked to have seen more of that too. But otherwise, I thought it was nice. You gave us several different views of what the product could be like. I was expecting a little bit more in terms of color variation or maybe like mixing and matching different customization schemes that brides might choose. But really, I was most concerned about you didn't get your brand out there enough or early enough.
So what should she do to get it out there?
Well, I also think that the logo, the brand itself, the way it's designed, doesn't necessarily lend itself to.
So you're talking about her logo?
The logo itself, I thought, could stand some.
Which we can see down
updating.
here.
Yes, it's down there. I think that could also use some work.
Okay. Kathy, what did you think?
So I thought it was catchy. What I would have liked to have seen was more context around a wedding. Because think about it, a bride is thinking about this bouquet as part of her wedding day. So
Sure.
you don't see her walking down the aisle. You don't see her perhaps
So
putting
more
it on the
romance,
table. So
perhaps.
yes, more having the bouquet be part of the day. This is kind of an independent image.
Right.
And if it could be integrated in, you're trying to imagine, you're saying to her, imagine that you're carrying this bouquet down the aisle and not that regular flower bouquet. That's
Right.
the image you want to leave.
Absolutely. Okay.
So that's an idea for you.
Absolutely, yeah.
Of course, that's more money. Of course, another reshoot. What did you think, Kevin?
So I agree with both comments made by Jim and Kathy. In addition, music sets the mood. So as you listen to that jingle,
Right.
that tune doesn't evoke for me the kind of emotional connection to a wedding-themed event
Right.
that I would look for. So
So I think you're all saying, give me some more romance.
Yeah.
More
And-
wedding related.
And contextually, place me in the frame that you want me to be in as a consumer of functional art.
Okay.
Tell me how much you've laid out already in this business. How many years into this are you? She's doing the math.
3.
3 years.
Yes.
Over 3 years, you've spent, how much have you put out?
$47,000. That number I got quick.
All right, 47,000. I think somebody asked how much came in.
How much came in?
12,000.
Okay. Over how many units was that? How many sales?
Oops, sorry. Hold on.
A dozen or so,
A
maybe
dozen
15?
or so, maybe.
About 15.
Okay.
All right, so we've done the math. She's, put out a lot more as small businesses do than that's coming in. How does she fix that? In 2 seconds.
In 2 seconds.
How does she fix that?
Well, it's a volume play, right? It's a matter of you need to bring in more than you spend. Sounds pretty basic, but you really need to be getting down to the basics. What does it cost for you to make such an item? And can you reduce the cost if you get a higher volume? And what are you bringing in? And there's got to be a delta there, and that's your margin. And that seems to not be part of the equation at the moment. So it really is getting down to business basics. You need to know your costs. You need to be able to charge a premium on them to give you your margin. And you've got to determine whether or not your market is willing to bear that price. And if not, you've got to start to be doing some adjusting in all aspects to get a working model. Right now, you don't have a working business model.
To
Can
which
I
you would
offer
say,
a differing opinion?
absolutely.
So let's presume that you've got the costing right, your margins are healthy, and what you're lacking is pull-through on sales. You've only made 12 sales in 3 years. That's not very many sales. Ideally, right, you'd be looking to sell, what, a couple of these a week maybe?
Right, yes.
Right. So I would look at your partner page, and on the partner page on your website, I find links to other providers. What I don't find are the types of bridal boutiques that would be the market pull for your product. So I would look to the bridal boutique as a prospective sales agent for the bouquet, armed with that particular booklet
Booklet we
that
talked about.
Ann displayed earlier. They would be able to demonstrate to prospective brides, this is the bouquet that would match up with your dress. It can be custom ordered. We know the artist. And you'd have to share a bit in terms of the revenues. You'd have to provide an affiliate commission or some form of income to the bridal boutique,
So-
but they would become your sales agent.
So you're
Right.
probably talking about boutiques in Palm Springs, LA, New York City,
Or even
Miami.
in Fairfield County.
In Fairfield County, correct. Jim, your thoughts on that?
How much margin do you have to, how much profit do you have to play with right now on this, on the manufacture of a single bouquet?
Well, with because of my competition, I have.
And you said you're about 3 competitors.
I
that you're
have
looking at.
3 people that I feel
Yeah,
are my
right.
competitors. They're well known out there.
But
they're-
not to us. I
No,
mean,
and they're across the country, but they use their quality of their stuff isn't where mine is.
And let me interject
So I have
that
to.
I agree with you because I've gone to a lot of trade shows and your product is beautiful. It is
Thank you.
very
Thank you.
beautiful.
And I'm not trying to knock anybody because I don't want to do that.
Sure.
But I've honestly, I try to scale back my costs, my prices, so I can be more competitive with them, so I can get my name out there, so people can take a second look at me and say, oh, okay. So I'm not even pricing mine where mine should actually really be, because mine are of the quality where they should be.
I guess where I'm going is, I'm trying to build off of Kevin's point about if you had people acting as your sales agents, how much of an affiliate fee could you bear to pay someone? If, assuming your margin's high enough, you might be able to offer, I don't know, 5%, 10%, maybe even more
Right.
to someone who's willing to act as your middleman.
Right. Which I would definitely be able to do if I re-looked at a couple of things.
Right, right.
Daniel, your ideas before you came into the room about how you might get to the next level. When you sit home at night and go, geez, I know I have this awesome product. I have to get the word out. You have beautiful branding. We think the logo maybe could be worked on a little bit and bring in some romance. But you have a gift. These are beautiful. So what have you thought about on your own about getting to the next level?
I've thought about so many different things.
Give us some ideas. Yeah, I mean, getting the word out there, having friends help, getting into boutiques.
I mean, I've walked door to door. I've gone to different vendors. I've gone expos. I mean, you name it, I've done it. I've been emailing different publications trying to put ads in.
And let me just help you right now because in here is
Everything.
The Knot. 2015 pick, The Knot Best of Weddings. Every girl reads The Knot. You guys will learn to enjoy that after this show. You'll get on The Knot and you'll look at this. So this should help.
Yes.
But you pay to be on The Knot.
Yeah, yep.
I mean,
you
that's
pay
the
to be on
truth.
the knot, and I've also paid. I'm on another website for brides that is new and upcoming. That is down in the Fairfield County area, and I thought that would be nice because then this way it kind of gets me over into the other side of New York and whatnot, and more of the nicer area. So I'm hoping that will end up taking off as well.
This
So-
panel knows a lot about elevator speech, and so do you. So if you walk in the door and you say, you cold call, and you say to somebody, this is what I make, how is it that you describe what you make in a couple of sentences? Go.
Honestly, usually when I walk in, they speak for themselves. I usually don't even have to talk. They instantly grab them and they want them. They're like, these are absolutely gorgeous. But my problem was, as soon as I walk in the door, they want me to leave one there. And for what it costs me to make one of these, I would be broke.
So she has to get tougher, is that correct? A little tougher?
Well, maybe not tougher, but what you want is the next best thing to the leave behind.
Well, that's why I came out with a book, because it was actually cheaper for me to create the book than it was to leave a bouquet. And then that gave me more of a variety to show the customers. So it's not just one bouquet, it's not just one specific kind. So if they say they weren't a rustic kind of girl, maybe they're more of a blingy or a pinky vintagey feel.
Are you guys getting
they
this
have
down?
more options.
Yeah, we're recording
I'm
this.
so capturing that.
So it would at least give them a feel, oh, okay, she does do different things. And I thought that this was kind of like the next best thing. But
Now, with respect to those particular photos, you also, I call it accessorize, because you've got the cake topper. Could you make a groom's boutonniere? Could you set up for the rest of the bridal party?
corsages. I actually do have packages that brides can buy for the whole entire bridal party. They get a little discount. It comes with corsages, boutonnieres, and bouquets.
So the whole wedding party glitters?
Yep.
I love this.
Yeah.
What's
that's-
the lead time for an
Go-
item?
go ahead,
If
Kim.
you get in, what's the lead time to get it?
Honestly, it depends on the color. But I mean, I've gotten a bouquet done in a month. I actually did Miss USA's bouquet for 2013, Erin Brady, and I did her bouquet in a month. And
Well, that talks about the labor intensive.
That's right.
and she
care.
actually wanted me to replicate her bouquet of real flowers. And it was absolutely breathtaking and stunning. And I wanted to keep it. I didn't even want to give it to her.
So it's the one on the right here.
It's right there, yeah.
So
It's
if it takes
gorgeous.
you 1 month to create a bouquet, is your maximum production with the current business model 12 in a year?
No, because I was actually, at that time, hers was really intensive because I was working with a lot of different pieces that I haven't had before. Plus, I also have to wait because I don't like to, but some of my manufacturers are from out of the country. So I try to really stay in-house as much as I possibly can, but it doesn't work. So sometimes I have to wait a little bit on my shippings. So when I have to wait, I'm working on other things, other aspects of the business.
It sounds to me like you are so meticulous with each one of these that you're giving birth to each one of
I
these.
really
when,
do.
When you give them to a bride.
I literally feel like I'm losing
But
part
there's
of
a
myself.
problem with that. I mean, if the notion is to grow the business and we have to ask you questions about like leaving artisan mode and becoming more of a mass marketer, how much of the process that you go through
I can do that too, though.
lends itself to someone else making these for you at a lower labor rate than what you charge for your own
I'm very good at delegating, and I
Are
I
you
am,
really?
Oh yeah, and I'm meticulous at perfectionism. So I'm like, if it's not right, let me tell you.
So do you
I
have
have no
folks that are
problem.
helping you make these?
Yes, my family.
Oh, I see. Okay, so that's cost effective, I guess.
Hey, free labor, right?
So let's revisit the Vera Wang model. Right? I don't know if Vera Wang had her family putting together her particular fashions, but it may be that there's an opportunity if Danielle looks at
onto something,
herself
right?
as the artist creator, and then can provide the model upon which others can then build. Then she retains the degree of customization that's required to be differentiated in this market space, and yet might be able to achieve higher degrees of product throughput that could meet the demands that Jim is talking about in terms of additional mass market type production attributes.
I want to give you a high five.
Oh,
Seriously.
that's very good.
I like that.
That's good.
Yes.
So in 2 years, where are you going to be, do you think?
Hopefully right there.
And so just in wrapping this up, we've identified a beautiful product. You have great passion. We want to put some romance into the video, which means more
Absolutely.
money, though, of course.
Right.
Change up the logo a little bit. And what else, just as we sum up with this product?
Well, I'll just, one thought that comes to mind when I see how beautiful these are, but how expensive they are, I think about what percentage of the overall wedding cost this might represent. And so I do wonder about which brides in particular should you be appealing to. Are they going to be brides who are spending lots and lots of money for their overall wedding experience, or brides who are spending less but really want to have a high degree of customization for their particular wedding? And so if we're getting into the issue of customization, how much does that play into the sort of the psyche of the bride who's making a decision? Do I just get a regular bouquet, or do I make a statement with the bouquet?
You know what's crazy about that is I've even been trying to figure out who my ideal bride is. The bride with the big, huge, and master ballroom and
Right.
everything else like that. I've had destination weddings where it's just him and her going away that get a bouquet. I've had the big ideal ballroom with big, huge ball gown and them wanting a bouquet. I mean, I've had Miss USA. I've had them all over the spectrum. I think it's literally just any bride that wants to feel unique, special, and different, and that is willing to say, I want one I can keep forever. That's honestly it. I
Couldn't
just don't know
have
how
been
to
said better.
translate it into finding my niche bride to
Kathy,
pinpoint.
just summing up.
Yeah, so I was going to go after the target segment as well. I think that that's where you have some real work that needs to be done.
Yeah.
You have a lot of marketing efforts that are going on, and they're spattered across a whole lot of different vehicles and mediums, and I would strongly encourage that you work on the target segment and then identify which is the best marketing avenue for them.
Yeah.
What do they pay attention to? And put your effort there. You're too
Diffuse.
diffused is a good word at this point in time. You're all over the place, and it's just not going to bring you the volume that you need to run and grow the business.
Right.
The other thing I would think about is coming up with a semi-custom bouquet that is maybe 3/4 done, and letting the final quarter be what they identify. It's a lot easier to produce them, and it also gives them the ability to have something that's unique in theirs
Great
and
idea.
someone else couldn't take. So you might want
Absolutely.
to think about that.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
a great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, semi-custom.
You get the last word.
I get the last word?
Yeah.
As always.
You know me well.
Yeah, I do.
So I love what I see here. This has been really, really great getting to know you and your business. I'd recommend taking one or two of your key successes, your Miss USA story, and another key success, maybe 2 or 3, and build your brand around those. And then maybe, you know, if you're lucky, you'll figure out a way to get some TV exposure and really get the word out there.
And on that note, Danielle, Jim, Kathy, Kevin, thank you so much for playing On Deck, and we wish you much luck.
Thank you so much. Thank you guys for your time. I really
Thank
appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
welcome. Pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you guys as well.
Made a trivial pursuit, spend one this in. Who is this girl I spend all night kissing? And if one was right here, then who else is missing? Got a little sidetracked if I'm a wishing I found the keys to the door, but it's also a metaphor. Things keep locked in the grocery store of my mind. Just to save time, skip right ahead to the last ride. The harder we look, the less we can see. Don't you know, you know that you need me.